I'm usually pretty good, but because Botus was 4 days, the non-stop, just... I did 10 games out of 42. And they would have me scheduled for the early morning games. And then I was doing, so like the last day, I had 4 games and 3 of them were in a row. It was 8, 10, and 12. And I said, please take me out of the 12 o'clock game. Because they had me down in a position I had never done.
out, we're taking care of some last-minute details with our track setup, and as soon as that is completed, we're going to go ahead and move along into our skater introduction. So thank you for being here, and bear with us for just a few more moments. Okay, so right now our officials are moving into our gear checks, making sure all of our skaters have the proper gear and that it is worn properly here. Once we are past that, we're going to go ahead and do our official skater introductions. Once again, this is our home team, the Black Rose Rebellion, taking on from Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Derby Brats. This is a JRDA Level 3 game, so it's going to be a fast and intense game. Scar is staring at me. It's very awkward right now. Our officials working this morning's game, thank you again for being here. Many of us were here yesterday at our closed game at the YWCA, and many of them are traveling to Reading, Pennsylvania after this for their game. Our non-skating officials this morning, we have Maddie, Bionic B, HBC, Sparky, Travis MC, Meanie, Creek Cut, Ox, Stretch, Ram, Cheshire Stats, and Windover. Our skating referees in the stripes and skates, we have our head referee, French Thwarter, Lone Bone, Coach Boom, Jalen Feliciano, Mofo Shizzle, and Phoenix. A thank you to our medical staff, Gwen Skatesy and her mom, our stream team, Frank and Fam, and I am your announcer, Carnage. So it looks like our gear checks are coming to an end. So at this time, I would like to do our skater introductions, everybody who will be competing in today's game. I would like to start by introducing to you our visiting team from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, your Pittsburgh Derby Brats Level 3 skaters. Just waiting for that music to start. There it is. Okay, skating for Pittsburgh. We've got number 04, His and Hers. Wearing number 1, Squishy. With number 111, Sharkbait. Wearing number 12, Strawberry Jam. Number 13, Serious Pack. Wearing number 2, Real Steel. With 2005, Asian Persuasion. Wearing number 3, Candy. We've got 35, Knuckles. Wearing number 412, Ban Yinzer. Number 5, Lakeinator. Number 55, Bigfoot. Number 713, Thunderbash. Wearing number 8, Forest Bump. And the captain of your Pittsburgh Derby Brats, number 21, Pippa Raygun. Give that Black Rose welcome to our visiting team here. These teams are not strangers. They are actually pretty close. They have played each other quite a few times, and they are here to take on our home team, the Black Rose Rebellion. Skating this morning for the Rebellion, number 253, Ant Jovi. We have number 2, Blueberry. Number 25, Diablo. We have 2007 Icebox. Wearing number 64, Jack Skatington. Number 10, Mathora. Wearing number 21, Bloody Mary. With number 2026, we have Twig. Number 333, Farrah Fawcett. Number 82, Starstruck. We have number 66, Crow, joining us today. Number 27, Dijo. Wearing 238, Swiss Rolls. Number 32, Beans. And number 38, Scar. Our Black Rose Rebellion is coached by Coach Rave, Olive, Joy, and Bio. The bench coaches for Pittsburgh Derby Brats, we have Pitbull, Dozer, and Smashberry. So with that said, our teams are heading back to their bench. They're going to take one more chance to get ready and pump up for the game. And as soon as our referees and skaters are in their positions, we will bring on the first jam of the game. Pittsburgh getting warmed up over there on the far end of the track. Our home team here, Black Rose, getting warmed up over here. Now, during the game, we are running several games. We are running shout-outs. If you want to take a shout-out, go ahead to our merchandise table and get that taken care of. They will bring that up to the announcers, and we will get that taken care of for you. We are also live streaming today's game, so all of the audio that we are hearing now is going through our live feed. So thank you for everybody who is at home, tuning in remotely for being part of our game. We currently have about 14 viewers. Hey, there's a rolling whistle to our game coming to a start. Coming out on the jam line for the first time of the game, number 82, Starstruck. And I believe we got 13, Serious Pack, jamming for the Pittsburgh Derby Brats. Okay, coming right off that line, Serious Pack's our lead jammer. So both of those jammers start on that whistle. The first jammer to break through gets 2 whistles. That means they are the lead jammer. The lead jammer has the privilege of calling off the jam before the 2 minutes have expired. Now, once those jammers make their first pass through the pack, they will score points for each opposing blocker that they pass. So right now, Serious Pack coming out with 4 points for Pittsburgh. Looks like Starstruck having some trouble getting past Pittsburgh's defense right now. Pittsburgh throwing two blockers the back of the pack. Diablo with a hit on Serious Pack. Serious Pack does a bit of a cartwheel there on the track. Starstruck is out of the pack for Black Rose. Serious Pack goes for the call off. So an 8-point jam for Pittsburgh coming off that whistle. 4-point jam for Black Rose. Coming out now for Black Rose, 253, Ant Jovi. Ant Jovi taking on number 04 from Pittsburgh, his and hers. And that whistle starts to jam. His and hers fights to the outside of the pack. Rides that line, gets those 2 whistles, so his and hers is our lead jammer. And Jovi getting some hits by Pippa Raygun. His and hers coming in on a scoring pass. First scoring pass. Oh no! Jack Skatington sending his and hers out of bounds, coming around the turn. So Ant Jovi is out of the pack. His and hers on that first scoring pass, but certainly leading some blocking by Black Rose's defense. Coach Boom signals 4 points for his and hers, and that jam is called off. So a scoreless jam for Black Rose. His and hers does a 4-point jam, calls it off. That brings Pittsburgh up to 12. Pittsburgh putting on number 55, Bigfoot, to take on 2026 Twig. And third lead now in a row for Pittsburgh. Bigfoot out of the pack, gets those 2 whistles. Bigfoot coming around there, full speed, not even slowing down. Okay, first 4 points of the jam now by Bigfoot. Twig coming in, meeting up a 3-wall at Pittsburgh blockers. Bigfoot with an apex jump, gets past that entire pack, puts up another 4 points. Looks like Starstruck tried to break up Pittsburgh's defensive wall, with Pittsburgh holding a very strong defense at the front of the pack. Twig coming back in, but is taken back out of bounds once again. Bigfoot with another 4-point scoring pass completed. Candy doing some blocking against Twig. Twig is sent out of bounds once again. There is a whistle being blown there, so let's see if there's going to be a penalty coming out. Looks like there's no penalty, but Bigfoot goes for the call-off, and I think that's a 16-point jam for the Brats. That it is. 16-point jam, compliments of Bigfoot from Pittsburgh. So Swiss rolls out there next versus number 13, Sirius Pack from Pittsburgh. Pippa Raygun doing some blocking against Swiss Roll. Swiss Roll set out of bounds. Now with a 4th lead. All 4 jams now. Pittsburgh has picked up lead jammer. Sirius Pack in control. Sirius Pack comes through the pack, doesn't even slow down. Runs to that scoring pass at full speed ahead. Now Black Rose losing Diablo to the penalty. Sirius Pack completes a second scoring pass. I believe that's 2 8-point passes with a call-off. That it is. 8-point jam by Sirius Pack. Sirius Pack goes for the call-off. That ends the jam. His and hers out there for Pittsburgh, taking on number 82, Starstruck. And our jam has started. His and hers gets to the front of the pack, takes up the middle. Farrah Forsyth taking a bit of a spill there. His and hers is our lead jammer. And his and hers coming out with 4 Pittsburgh points. Starstruck also breaking out of the pack now. Both jammers are in point scoring positions. So Strawberry Jam goes and clears a hole for his and hers. His and hers takes advantage of that hole, completes a 4-point scoring pass, calls off the jam. So another scoreless jam for Black Rose. You're still stuck at 8 points. His and hers with an 8-point jam. Now we've got Bigfoot on the line. And Bigfoot's taking on 253 Anchovy. Beans tries to close a hole on the inside, but Bigfoot just too fast for Beans. Now Bigfoot's out of the pack. Bigfoot's in, comes out of a scoring pass with 4 points to show. Anchovy still stuck, not getting any love from that Pittsburgh defense. Now Anchovy does come out of the pack. Bigfoot scores another 4 points, so 8-point jam on a call-off. That's going to bring Pittsburgh now up to 52 points versus Black Rose still stuck at 8. Now, during our game, we are doing our bingo, so try your luck at our roller derby version of bingo. Each card is $2 to play. You get 1 card per person. If you get a bingo and win a prize, you can pick up a prize at the merchandise table. Back to our game. We've got Twig on the jam line versus number 8, Forrest Bump. Pittsburgh with a 4-wall against Twig. Just rolling back and forth with Twig. Twig, she's still stuck in that pack now. Forrest Bump is out. Twig getting knocked out of bounds, coming around the turn, is forced to recycle. This is still an initial pass. Forrest Bump completes a 4-point scoring pass. Coach Boom throws up those 4 fingers. Candy doing some last-minute block in front of the pack against Starstruck, who receives the star pass. Starstruck comes in the pack, unable to score any points before Forrest Bump calls off that jam. So another 3-point pass, 7-point jam for Pittsburgh. Swiss Rolls coming back out for Black Rose, taking on 13, Serious Pack. Penalty box is empty. It's been a pretty light game so far for penalties. Not a whole lot of box trips, so both teams have been at full strength. Serious Pack finds a hole on the inside. Blueberry tries to close that hole, but Serious Pack is out. Oh, track cut called off on Swiss Rolls. So that's going to put Black Rose's jammer in the penalty box. This is going to be a power jam now for Pittsburgh with Serious Pack in control. Four-point pass completed by Serious Pack. Now Serious Pack coming in for a second round of points. Now Serious Pack is a speed skater. Blueberry with a hip check on Serious Pack, but Blueberry going to the penalty box. Another round of 4 points on the board. Serious Pack goes for the call off. Looks like Serious Pack calls off that jam while Black Rose still has a jammer in the box. So this is going to buy Pittsburgh a power start. Real steal coming out for Pittsburgh, taking advantage of this power start with Swiss Roll still in the box for that earlier track cut. Pittsburgh's blocker sweeping that pack to the outside of the track. Bigfoot breaks through. Now Bigfoot is out. Diablo tries to close up some defense, but Bigfoot's out with lead jammer. Pittsburgh losing Bigfoot to a penalty now. Real Steel comes in, gets some blocking by Starstruck. Diablo working some defense in the front of the pack, slowing down Real Steel. Real Steel goes for the call off, takes a bit of a tumble coming around the turn there. Black Rose with a scoreless jam. And somebody being called off on a clockwise block. That might be Blueberry. Three-point jam for Pittsburgh as they put out number 04, Hurst to take on Anchovy. And that whistle starts to jam. Anchovy comes in, but Hurst takes off on that whistle through the pack and gets those 2 whistles. So Hurst is our lead jammer. Hurst powering through the pack now. Speed of light almost collapses with Anchovy. Scores 4 points just as there's a star pass from Jovi off to Beans. Hurst calls off the jam. So a 4-point jam by Pittsburgh. Now out there for the Brats. Taking on Twig, 2-0-2-6. Now Black Rose has had a number of scoreless jams. Black Rose walling up the back of the pack. Bloody Mary and Starstruck and Diablo working in that wall. Oh, Starstruck sending Forrest Bump out of bounds and dragging Forrest to the back of the pack. So lead jammer is still open. Forrest Bump comes back in, though, comes around the apex and picks up a Pittsburgh lead. Forrest Bump now coming in for the first round of points. Forrest Bump is in the pack. Blueberry goes for a hit. Forrest Bump stays up on one skate and inbounds, completes a pass. Twig doing some defense at the back of the pack. Forrest Bump gets a spin around Twig. Now Blueberry sending Forrest Bump out of bounds. Starstruck getting sent out of bounds by Pip Ray Gun. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Forrest Bump doing some defense by Blueberry. Forrest Bump gets past Blueberry, comes another 4 points. Knuckles working some defense there in the pack. That jam is over. So another scoreless jam for Black Rose. Black Rose going for a team timeout. So we're also pick a number board. Go ahead and pick a number for $2 each at the merchandise table and try our luck to win a local gift basket. Doing a having some audio difficulties here. Hopefully we got these issues resolved. Real Steel back on the jam line for Pittsburgh. Real Steel's our lead jammer. Okay, Pittsburgh losing their jammer to a track cup. So now Starstruck, not lead jammer, but this is a scoring pass. Oh, Bigfoot sending Starstruck out of bounds, coming around the turn. Starstruck certainly fighting to complete the scoring pass. Looks like Strawberry Jam running Starstruck all the way to the back of the pack. Starstruck Doge gets past Lakeinator, but sent out of bounds, so Starstruck recycled to the back of the pack. Black Rose losing Scar to a clockwise blocking penalty now. Starstruck completing a star pass over to number 25, Diablo. Looks like Real Steel coming back into the penalty box. Takes a bit of a stumble there on the track. Oh no. Looks like Real Steel's having some equipment issues here. Diablo still has this jammer star for Black Rose. Real Steel completes a star pass over to Bigfoot. Okay, and that jam is over. Black Rose finally able to put some points on the board now. They're up to 19. Pittsburgh now sitting at 94. Candy coming out to jam for Pittsburgh, number 3 versus 253, Anchovy. Candy coming out with lead jammer. Pittsburgh down 1 blocker. Anchovy also out of the pack, so both jammers now in point scoring positions. Candy comes into the pack, finds a hole on the outside line. Candy making quick work of that 4-point pass and calls it off. Oh no, Coach Boom is signaling no points for Pittsburgh, so looks like that's going to be a scoreless jam. Okay, so no, that is a 4-point scoring pass. Bringing Pittsburgh now up to 98, just 2 points shy of the 100-point mark. Pittsburgh calling for a team timeout here. About 13 minutes left to our first half of the game. Once again, we are doing shout-outs. If you visit our merchandise table, you can look at our Black Rose Juniors merchandise. That does benefit the team. We are also doing the shout-outs, so if you want to get that taken care of, fill out that shout-out form. They will bring that up here to the announcers table, and we will get your shout-out taken care of. While we are taking this timeout, looks like our very own number 110 Sunset Scar is doing some track maintenance. We'd like to thank our sponsors who also help make Black Rose Juniors happen. Conawago Enterprises, a very good sponsor to us. Thank you for your support this season. Number 8 Forrest Bump out there against 64, Jack Skatington. Black Rose beginning this jam on a pack advantage. Pittsburgh is down 1 blocker going into this jam. And there's our whistle. The jam is started after that timeout. Forrest Bump just powering through that pack. Speed of light. Banyans are putting a hit on Jack Skatington with the rollback. Now Banyans are working some very fluid defense in the back of the pack against Jack Skatington. Oh, Banyans are not giving up. Now Jack Skatington meeting a tripod of Pittsburgh Derby Brats blockers. Blueberry putting a shoulder block on number 8 Forrest Bump. Forrest Bump is sent out of bounds. Starstruck goes for the rollback on that out of bounds hit. Now Jack Skatington also sent out of bounds. Looks like Beans being called off on a back block penalty, but Sirius Pack does complete Forrest Bump does complete a 4-point scoring pass. Forrest Bump now being held back by Diablo. Blueberry holding up a defensive wall against Forrest Bump. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh stretches their entire defense to the back of the pack against Jack Skatington. So Jack Skatington having some trouble with that star pass. And Forrest Bump goes for the call-off. 8-point jam by Pittsburgh. 12-point jam by Pittsburgh. That brings them up to 110 over Black Rose's 19. Swiss rolls back on the jump line now for Black Rose. Number 111, Sharkbait, has the star for Pittsburgh. And we have a Pittsburgh lead now. Sharkbait in control. Beans coming out of the box, rejoining the game. So both teams back to full strength. And Swiss rolls called off on a track cut. So now Pittsburgh has power jam with Sharkbait in control. Sharkbait coming through, powering through the pack, picking up 4 points, still in the midst of a power jam. And that jam is called off. So another 4-point pass, 8-point jam by Sharkbait. That jam called off. That's going to also buy Pittsburgh another power start. Coming out to jam unopposed right now on the jammer line for Pittsburgh, number 2005, Asian Persuasion. Okay, and Asian Persuasion picking up a Pittsburgh lead right off the whistle. Pittsburgh losing, looks like losing Pippa Ray gun to a penalty. Asian Persuasion coming out with 4 points. Swiss Rose comes out from the earlier track cut, tries to make an apex jump, but gets swallowed back into the pack. Now Asian Persuasion with another 4 points on the board for Pittsburgh. Bandy injury being called off on a low block penalty, so 2 Brad skaters off the track now. Should be a little bit of an advantage for Swiss Rolls to come out and do some scoring. Pippa Raygun rejoining the track from that earlier penalty. Pippa working some blocking. Now Pippa sending Diablo out of bounds just as Asian Persuasion comes out with another 4 points. And Asian Persuasion comes to the outside of the track, begins stepping on the outside, but is called off on a track cut. So Pittsburgh has their jammer and a blocker in the box. So we're going to have a 2-minute jam now. It looks like there's a star pass completed to number 25, Diablo. Jack Skadington coming to the front of the pack, trying to clear a hole for Diablo, but Diablo is still stuck behind Pittsburgh's defense. Okay, that jam is over now. Black Rose does have some points on the board. They're now up to 23. Pittsburgh at 132. Coming out on a power start, number 82, Starstruck for Black Rose. Pittsburgh still down their jammer from that earlier track cut in the last jam. There's the whistle, so the jam has started. And Starstruck gets through. First lead of the game for Black Rose, thanks to Starstruck. (2005) Asian Persuasion and Pippa Raygun rejoining the track, so we're back to a 5-on-5. Starstruck with 4 points on the board for Black Rose. Now Starstruck coming in for a second round of points. Oh, Forrest Bum tries to shut down Starstruck. Pippa Raygun goes to the front of the pack, but Starstruck stays ahead. 8-point score, 8-point jam so far for Starstruck. Asian Persuasion with 4 points for Pittsburgh. Starstruck in for a third scoring pass. And Starstruck is out. So far in this jam, 12 points for Black Rose. as Pittsburgh loses Squishy to the penalty box. Now Starstruck in for a fourth round of points coming around the apex. Gets under the bounds to the inside. Starstruck back in for some action, but takes on a 3 while Pittsburgh blockers. All right. Starstruck coming out with another 4. So far, the highest scoring jam for Black Rose, thanks to Starstruck. Starstruck in for another round of points now. Oh, goes out of bounds by a matter of centimeters. I believe Pippa Raygun made that hit. Starstruck recycles to the back of the pack, calls off the jam. That's one more point, so might be looking at a 17-point jam for Black Rose. That it is. 7-point jam by Starstruck. Now that jam is over. Our penalty box vacates. So we're back to 5-on-5. We got Ange Tovey out there versus number 2, Real Steel. Okay, our next whistle starts this next jam. Pittsburgh losing a blocker to the penalty box. Lead jammer is still, oh no, Ange Tovey. Second lead in a row and second lead for the game for Black Rose as Pittsburgh loses Bigfoot and his and hers to the penalty box. So Beans comes into that Pittsburgh wall trying to break it up. Joby taken out of bounds and is dragged to the back of the pack by Lakenator. Lakenator working some defense in the back. Joby goes on the lines. Toe stops on the line but goes out of bounds, so Joby has to recycle. So Joby with no points. Looks like Pittsburgh might have had some points in that jam. .2026 Twig out there now versus number 3 Candy. Okay, Twig finding a hole there, stepping around Pittsburgh's defense on her toe stops. Twig comes out with lead jammer. But right now we're jammer on jammer. Candy going for a hit on Twig. So it's a foot race for both of these two jammers. Candy coming in the pack now. Starstruck working some defense against Candy, bringing Candy out of bounds and dragging her to the back of the pack. Now Twig is up at front, taking on Pittsburgh's defense around the apex. 4 points on the board thanks to Twig. And Twig goes for the call-off just as Pittsburgh loses Pippa Raygun to a penalty. Swiss Rolls coming back out now versus number 111, Sharkbait. Under 3 minutes left to our first half of the game. Oh, Swiss Rolls taken down. That was Knuckles with that hit. Swiss Rolls forced to recycle. We have a lead now in the hands of Pittsburgh with number 111, Sharkbait, in control. Sharkbait coming through on a scoring pass. And Sharkbait gets past Bloody Mary, completes a 4-point pass. Swiss Rolls is also out of the pack. Jam is over. Well, once again, as we count down the minutes to our halftime, make sure you check out our bingo. We will be doing that at halftime, I believe. This is the roller derby version, so each card is $2 to play. 1 card per person. Get a bingo and win a prize at the merchandise table. Right now, back to our game. Number 82, Starstruck out there against number 8, Forrest Bump. So Forrest Bump working the front of the pack. Black Rose throwing a 3-wall. Forrest Bump is past that Black Rose defense, passes all those blockers, and has a Pittsburgh lead. Now Starstruck sent out of bounds, dragged the back of the pack there. Number 5, Lakenator doing some defense at the back along with Van Yinzer. Mathora sending Forrest Bump down. Starstruck coming out of the pack. Oh, Blueberry also taking a hit on Forrest Bump. So Forrest Bump comes to the back of the pack. Now Black Rose reforms their defense at the front of the pack. Blueberry with a hit on Forrest Bump. Forrest Bump gets past Blueberry in Icebox, completes a 4-point pass. Van Yinzer going to the penalty box for a clockwise block. Now Forrest Bump comes out, completes another 4-point pass, and calls off the jam. Going into the last jam of our first half now, we have Anchovy out there versus Real Steel. And that whistle starts the jam right off the bat. Real Steel meeting a tripod of Black Rose blockers. Beans working along with Bloody Mary up there. Diablo also doing some blocking. Looks like Diablo went out of play. So Diablo being called off on a failure to return penalty. I have a shot out here. Thank you very much. This is going to, well, we'll keep this one for the, we'll keep this one here for a few more minutes. Okay, Real Steel jam, and that's going to bring us into halftime. So while we are in halftime, I'm finding out that we have a birthday in the house this morning. Not just any birthday. We have a 16th birthday here by one of our skaters. So join me in saying happy birthday to number 5 Lakenator from the Pittsburgh Derby Brats. I can't think of a better place to spend the birthday than right here with the two fantastic junior derby teams. So happy birthday, Laken. It's been great having everybody here. So, and on that, we are in halftime. So make sure you visit our merchandise table, play our games. We are doing the pick a number board as well. Pick a number for $2 each and try our luck to win a local gift basket. Toward the end of our halftime, we are also doing the bearing toss. So buy a bearing for $1 at halftime, right, which is right now. Give us a few minutes. You can try your luck by tossing into a bucket. If it gets in the bucket, you do win the prize. Another shot out here. So this is also another birthday shout out. This is going to Toxic Sugar. Happy birthday, love you. This is from Death Ray and Diablo. So Death Ray and Diablo are siblings on the track. Toxic Sugar is a veteran skater. Apparently it is Toxic's birthday, so happy birthday to you as well. Okay, so we are now doing our bearing toss. So if you bought the bearings, we are going to go ahead and do that game right now. So there are 2 green buckets between the jammer and pivot lines on the track. Come meet our very own Mad Mama Bear. Find her on the track there. We're going to go ahead and get this game started. We do have one winner for our bearing toss, but still a bit of a line next. So we still have lots of bearings left to throw. Oh. Okay, so we're about 5.5 minutes left to our halftime. For those who did not get your prizes, go ahead up to our merchandise table. They know who you are, and please claim your prize. So I think we're still doing the bingo. Okay, moving into our second half now. If we can get all of our skaters to take the outside line of the track for our gear checks. And we are still doing our bingo as we move into the second half of the game. So go ahead and pick up your bingo cards. If you are not familiar with what you're seeing or what is on the bingo card, we will give you some hints here. So our skaters are going back. They're switching benches. Pittsburgh going back to the bench now. Going into our second half of the game, Black Rose 49, but Pittsburgh in the lead at 166. Okay, our officials getting back on the track here. Okay, and that whistle officially brings us back from halftime to the second half of the game. So our jam timer Bionic goes ahead and tickles the 5 seconds. Coming out on the jam line, jamming for the first time in the game now, number 21, Pippa Raygun from Pittsburgh. Pippa taking on number 82, Starstruck. Starstruck is our lead jammer. So both jammers coming in the pack now. Starstruck is ahead. Pippa crashing in the pack, getting sent down. At the same time, Starstruck taking a fall on the track. Starstruck completes a 4-point scoring pass. Pippa Raygun fighting to complete that scoring pass. Looks like Beans doing some blocking. Oh, Pippa getting sent down once again. Now, Starstruck with a scoring pass completed. That jam is over, and there looks to be part of a skate on the track. Looks like you might have a broken truck or a broken plate. That does not look good for Pippa right now. Okay, that timeout now that we called coming to an end. We have number 2, Real Steel versus 253, Ant Jovi. And that whistle starts the jam. We're on a 5-on-5 start here. All skaters on the track. Jovi working her way to the front of the pack, but Pittsburgh throwing their entire defense at Ant Jovi. So the lead jammer is still yet to come out. There it is. And Jovi's our lead jammer just as the Brats lose Squishy to a penalty. Diablo putting a hit on Real Steel. Real Steel forced to recycle the back of the pack. Jovi tries to sneak through on the outside, but is sent out of bounds. So it looks like Candy forces that recycle on Ange Jovi. Jovi coming back in, finding a little bit of speed there, completes a scoring pass, calls it off. So a scoreless jam for Pittsburgh, 4 points on the board for Ange Jovi now. Coming out the jam for Pittsburgh, number 35, Knuckles. Knuckles will be taking on number 2026, Twig, and we have a timeout called by our officials. So a thank you once again to our officials who are working a lot of Derby. Our area right now is in a shortage of volunteers across the board, from officials to announcers to any kind of support staff. Mad Mama Bear here with some more shout-outs. We got 3 shout-outs in a row. So our officials working this game had NSO, I think Maddie, we have Bionic B doing the jam timer position. HBC, she travels about as much as I do. Sparky, Travis MC, Meanie, Creek Cut, Ox, Stretch, Ram, Cheshire Stats, and Windover. Our referees for this morning's game, head referee French Thwarter, Lone Bone, Coach Boom, Jalen Feliciano, Mofo Shizzle, and Phoenix. Rolling whistle there ends that timeout called by our officials. We're moving into our next jam once again. Number 35, Knuckles taking on 2026, Twig. Knuckles meeting some Black Rose defense. Beans doing a hit on Knuckles. Knuckles has to rejoin that Black Rose defense. Twig coming out with the Black Rose lead. Band Ninja going to the penalty box now. Scoring pass for both of our jammers. Twig coming in the pack. Coming in. Squishy sending Twig down, coming around that turn. Now Twig is back up on her skates. Gets sent to the outside, forced to recycle. Lakeinator doing some blocking for Pittsburgh right now. Lakeinator holding up the defense to the back of the pack. Twig's teammates coming to her rescue. They are holding up that wall, giving Twig an escape. So Twig comes out of the pack with 4 points. 1 point there for number 35, Knuckles, as that jam comes to an end. Bigfoot now back on the jam line for Pittsburgh. 238 Swiss rolls out there for Black Rose. Okay, and that whistle starts the jam. Both jammers finding their easiest way through the pack. Starstruck guarding the inside line, slowing down Bigfoot while Swiss Rolls comes out with another Black Rose lead. So Black Rose now with 4 leads in a row. Okay, Bigfoot called off on a back block penalty. 238 Swiss Rolls comes in for some points, but is sent out of bounds. Band Ninja doing some blocking on Swiss Roll. Swiss Roll stays up on her skates, gets past Band Ninja, but Band Ninja recycles to the front, sends Swiss Rolls out of bounds once again. Band Ninja now drawing Swiss Rolls all the way up to the back of the pack while Bigfoot is still seated in the penalty box. Swiss Rolls comes out with 4 points for the Rebellion. And Swiss Rolls goes for the call-off just as Bigfoot's released from the penalty box. Our penalty box now vacates. So that is a 4-point pass for Swiss Rolls. 8-point jam for Black Rose, I believe. No, I'm wrong. Just 4 points. Anchovy now out there, 253 versus number 8, Forrest Bump. Lead jammer still open. Anchovy breaking out. 5 leads in a row by our Black Rose Rebellion Jammers, but right now we are jammer on jammer. Both jammers are out of the pack, and they're on a race through. Jovi coming in, gets past her own teammates now. Jovi taking on that Pittsburgh defensive wall. Candy sending Jovi out of bounds, but Candy being called off on a forearm penalty. Forrest Bump is out with 4 points now. Jovi still on a roll. She's got 4 points on the board for herself. Candy in for a second round the points here as Jovi recycles. Black Rose defense holding Candy back. I'm sorry, holding back Forrest Bump, that is. And Forrest Bump is out with 4 points for Pittsburgh. Jovi is out, gets past Asian Persuasion, scores 4 points, calls off the jam. Eight-point jam for Black Rose now. They got number 82, Starstruck, out against number 2, Real Steel. Lakenator working some defense there against Starstruck, holding that line, keeping Starstruck the back of the pack. Now Squishy goes in for a hit against Starstruck. Starstruck out of bounds. Real Steel is our lead jammer. Pittsburgh now breaking that streak of lead jams that Black Rose has had in the second half of the game. Now Starstruck sent out of bounds. Mathora and Blueberry working some blocking at the front of the pack. The Real Steel meeting some defense by Mathora and Blueberry, but Real Steel is past those blockers. Oh, Bigfoot with a hit on Starstruck. That is a no pass, no penalty, so that is not going to result in a penalty. That jam is over. We got a shout out here for Band Ninja. That's number 412 from the Brats as Band Ninja takes the jammer line. Way to skate hard, B. Thank you for that shout out. So Band Ninja taking that jammer line now against Twig. Oh, Twig finding that hole on the inside. Outskates Band Ninja, but right now, even though Twig is our lead jammer, Band Ninja is also out of the pack. So we're at another jammer on jammer right now. Band Ninja coming in for some points. Sails through on the outside. Farrah Forsett goes for a hit, but Band Ninja gets ahead of Farrah with 4 points. Now both jammers have scored. All right, now that jam is called off. Now Pittsburgh with number 3, Candy. Candy taking on 238 Swiss Rolls. Okay, Swiss Rolls making her way up to the front of the pack, but Candy coming out first. So Candy's our lead jammer. Oh, Swiss Rolls taken out by number 55, Bigfoot. Bigfoot being called off on a penalty. Blueberry goes in, tries to slow down Candy, but Candy is out with 4 Pittsburgh points. And Swiss Rolls breaks out of the pack. Forrest Bump puts a hit on Swiss Rolls. Forrest Bump called off on a low block penalty, so Swiss Rolls gets back up on her skates. Squishy sending Swiss Rolls out of bounds. Squishy working some defense at the back of the pack. Another scoring pass complete by Candy, number 3. Bigfoot re-enters from that earlier penalty. All blockers and skaters back on the track. Candy with another 4-point pass. Swiss Rolls effectively stuck in the pack behind Pittsburgh's defense. Now Swiss Rolls completes a star pass over to Starstruck, and Candy goes for the call-off. I believe that was going to be a 16-point jam for, a 20-point jam for Pittsburgh. Hurst in this next jam, taking on 82 Starstruck, who just received that star pass. So back-to-back jams for Starstruck here. Our pack running pretty tight off that whistle. Starstruck getting past Pittsburgh's defense. Oh, it's close, but it looks like Hurst is our lead jammer. Starstruck getting sent out of bounds in the back of the pack. Hurst coming in on a scoring pass. Oh, a low block being called off on Starstruck while Hurst completes the first 4 points of the jam. Hurst now on a power jam, comes into the outside. Beans closes up the hole on the outside, giving Hurst some resistance. Hurst takes a bit of a stumble there, recovers back up on skates, and puts another 4 on the board. Hurst still in midst of this power jam with Starstruck in the box, coming in for a third scoring pass. Hurst getting bumped like a pinball, but that scoring pass is complete. So far a 12-point jam for Pittsburgh. Oh, there's a no-pack declaration by our head referee, French Thwarter, just as Hurst comes in for another round of points. Starstruck coming out from that earlier penalty and completes 4 points for Black Rose. And Hurst breaking out of the pack with another 4-point pass, so a 16-point jam for Pittsburgh with Hurst. Next shout out here goes to all of our refs. Thank you for coming out and spending your day with us. Thank you very much for your time and energy, hard work, and all-around great vibe. Can't do it without you, so thank you for that shout-out. And again, thank you to all of our officials. We have been very busy in Derby. There is a lot of Derby going on and not enough volunteers to handle it, so a lot of our officials and volunteers and announcers and everybody else are traveling from team to team on weekends. Last night, as you know, we had our Level 2 game right here at the YWCA. We're doing this game, and some of us are traveling east to Reading later on today to take care of their game against the Dutchland Rollers. So although we are in a deficit of officials, we do have some of the most dedicated officials and volunteers that the sport can offer. We have 253 Anchovy now out against number 8 Forrest Bump. Looks like Mad Mama Bear is bringing me my shout-outs again. Thank you for that. Okay, it was a pretty hard-fought lead there for Forrest Bump, but Forrest Bump does come out with a Pittsburgh lead. Anchovy. Oh, Anchovy got a bit of a hit there by number 713 Thunderbash. Oh, Anchovy got knocked. Now, number 5, Lakenator, on her 16th birthday, puts a hit on Anchovy. Lakenator working the back of the pack now. Jovy meeting a 3-wall of Pittsburgh blockers. Laken joining that wall, making it a full 4-wall. Forrest Bump coming out with 4 points for Pittsburgh. Okay, another scoring pass completed by Forrest Bump. So there's 4 more points on the board. Now Lakenator working the front of the pack. Lakenator putting Anchovy out of bounds and forcing the recycle. Now Black Rose down 2 blockers. Forrest Bump gets to the front of the pack. Beans and Diablo working with some defense. Forrest Bump gets past those 2 blockers, scores 3 more points, and calls the action off. Okay, coming out the jam for the first time in the game, and I believe my first time ever seeing this. Number 1, Squishy out there on the jam line. Now we're moving into a timeout called by our officials. If you are following us and playing our bingo, this might be something interesting to note on your bingo card. This is a timeout called by our officials. So again, I'd like to thank our officials and our non-skating officials and our referees for being here. Our medical staff, Gwen Skatesy and her mom, our stream team, that's Frank and family. We've also got our friend and teammate Pippi Jamstocking here. She's always here to support the Black Rose Juniors. So thank you for being here for our game. I have a shout out here to Beans. Go Beans, we love you. So thank you for that. Doing a bit of a group hug there on the jammer line for Twig and Squishy and a couple of the Pittsburgh blockers. Okay, that rolling whistle ends our timeout. We're going to move into our next jam here. Once again, number 1, Squishy, taking on 2026 Twig. Okay, Twig stuck in the back of the pack. Squishy picking up a Pittsburgh lead. Okay, Twig still stuck in this initial pass. Squishy coming through the pack on that scoring pass, coming around the turn, doesn't even slow down. She's just coming out with those 4 points. Twig is out of the pack now. Squishy now on another round of points. So penalty box kind of filling up on the Pittsburgh side with Squishy. Still has the lead jammer position. Banyans are putting a hit on Twig as Twig tries to sneak through on the outside of the track now. Black Rose walling up against Squishy. They're throwing all of their defensive strength over at Squishy. Twig coming in, trying to get past that outside wall. That jam is called off. I have a shout out here for Jack Skatington. That is the one and only number 4 from our level 3 juniors. Kick butt. And another one, this is for Mason and Olivia. Those are real names. That's actually going to, Mason and Olivia. And I think this says good skating. I'm not quite sure what that says, but thank you for that shout out.
30 seconds. But it should be fine now.
Moving in now to the final quarter of our game. Number 5, Lakeinator on a birthday jam, taking on 253 Ants Jovi. Pittsburgh starting this jam down 1 block in the box. Lakeinator versus Anstovey. A little bit of a trip there between Anstovey and Asian Persuasion. Lakin sent out of bounds. I think Farrah forced it with that hit on Lakin. Lead is still open. Lakeinator with a birthday lead. Looks like Pittsburgh losing his and her penalty box. Oh, Lakeinator working that outside line. Stays in bounds, completes that scoring pass. Lakeinator getting sent out of bounds by number 25, Diablo. And Lakeinator completing another 4-point pass. And Sovey still stuck in the back of the pack now. His and hers comes out of the box. Lakeinator calling off the jam, so we're going back to a 5-on-5. Real Steel out on the jam line now versus Twig. Shout out to Starstruck, power through. Looks like Twig and Pippa Raygun doing a bit of a high five there. Looks like Pippa got her skates fixed, so she's back on the track for more derby. All right, Twig finds a hole. Black Rose lead now with Twig in control. And Twig is out, beginning a scoring pass. Oh, Twig coming in, crashing into the back of, looks like that might be Forrest Bump. Twig is going to serve and sit down for a back block penalty. So in Derby, there are certain parts that you are of a block of an opponent you are allowed to make contact with, and certain body parts you are not allowed to make contact with. And you are not allowed to make contact with the back of an opponent if the impact there is serious enough that will buy you a 30-second trip to the box. We call that a back block. So now this is a power jam in the hands of Real Steel. We're going to have a 2-minute jam now with Twig still in the box. Real Steel now meeting some defense. Bloody Mary and Jack Skillington doing some hitting there. So with no lead jammer, our action is building up now. Beans sending Real Steel down toward the front of the pack. Sharkbait tries to put a hit on Twig, but Twig is out with 4 points for Black Rose. And another 4-point pass completed by Twig. Sharkbait, I'm sorry, that's Real Steel, comes out with 4 points. Sharkbait making a hit on Twig, sending Twig down. Twig recovers on her skate. She gets to the front of the pack, but Pittsburgh very quickly reforming that defense up at the front. Twig certainly having some trouble now, making her way out of the pack. Okay, that jam time's out at 2 minutes. Swiss rolls out there now on the jammer line. Swiss rolls versus number 55, Bigfoot. Working a pretty tight pack off that jammer line. Neither jammer yet has broken out of the box. Looks like Pittsburgh losing their pivot to a penalty. Now Bigfoot coming out with a Pittsburgh lead. Bigfoot coming in on a scoring pass, finding a hole there on the inside. Beans tries to close that hole. Bigfoot is through. Bigfoot makes the call out after scoring 4 points. So we do have a good number of viewers here on our live feed, and I apologize for those who are watching and listening that we really, being that we only have the one announcer, we really can't tend to that, but our chat here is going pretty well. A lot of cheering here for our Pittsburgh blockers. Lake Nader getting some shout outs there. Go Cass. Cassie is his and hers from the Brats. So thank you for everyone who's tuning in remotely. We have number 82 Starstruck on the jam line now. Starstruck taking on number 8 Forrest Bump. And Starstruck picking up a Black Rose lead. Okay, Starstruck on a scoring pass. Squishy working some defense there along with his and hers. His and hers gets to the front of the pack, takes on, tries to slow down Starstruck, but Starstruck gets ahead of his and hers, completing a 4-point pass. At the same time, Forrest Bump also having 4 points for Pittsburgh. Starstruck with another 4 points and a call-off. So an 8-point jam for Black Rose. Coming out the jam for the first time in the game, number 713, Thunder Bash. Thunder Bash versus number 253, Anchovy. Running down now, about 8 minutes left to our game. There's our whistle. Black Rose starting this jam. They're down 2 blockers in the penalty box. Thunder Bash getting a hit by Beans. Thunder Bash recovers and picks up a Pittsburgh lead. Beans being called off now on, I believe that was a clockwise penalty just as Crow re-enters the track. So Thunder Bash with a 4-point scoring pass for Pittsburgh. at the front of the pack. Thunderbats comes in, gets past all of Black Rose's defense, gets past Bloody Mary and Crow. Another 4. Candy putting Anchovy out of bounds, forcing the recycle on Jovi. Thunderbash getting sent out coming around the apex and is forced to recycle. So both jammers resetting that scoring pass. Thunderbash getting past Black Rose's defense, completing a 4-point pass, calling it off. So a 12-point jam for Thunderbash. Another first-time jam for Pittsburgh here in the game. Number 12, Strawberry Jam. Strawberry Jam is taking on Twig. And that whistle begins the action. Twig coming through on the inside, but his and hers closing up that wall. Strawberry Jam is our lead jammer. His and hers going off to the penalty box now, so Pittsburgh will be down 1 blocker. Black Rose still down 1 blocker too. Now Strawberry Jam coming in for the first round of points. Okay, Strawberry goes ahead and scores 4 points. Calls off the jam. Richie Teaser very active in our online chat right now, so thank you for everybody who is, again, watching us. Richie Teaser was one of the level 2 skaters from last night at the YWCA. Now, number 2, Real Steel, will be taking on 82 Starstruck. Okay, Starstruck with another Black Rose lead. Running a pretty tight pack right now against Real Steel, number 2. But Real Steel does break out of the pack. Now Starstruck coming in for the first round of points, and he's out. Starstruck, 4 points, calls it off. So Black Rose beginning this jam at full strength. They got all 4 blockers in a jammer. Pittsburgh down a blocker. They've got number 3 Candy out to go up against Anchovy. His and hers comes back from the penalty box, comes in, rejoins the play. Now number 3 Candy coming out with a Pittsburgh lead. And Candy sailing in that pack at full speed. Fantastic skating and great derby position there by Candy, as Candy is out with 4 points. Anchovy having some trouble completing this initial pass, but Candy is out with another 4 points. Squishy doing some defense now, sending Jovi out of bounds. Squishy is joined by His and Hers. His and Hers also sending Jovi out of bounds. His and Hers works some defense against Jovi one more time. His and Hers sending Jovi down, coming around the pivot line. And Candy, despite all that blocking, coming out with another round of points. So far a 16-point jam for Candy. Okay, Candy with another scoring pass down. So a 20-point jam by Candy, and that jam is called off. This is the second 20-point jam in the second half of the game for Candy. Earlier on, she had another 20-point jam, so certainly a high-scoring jammer. Now we got number 55, Bigfoot, on the jammer line. And it looks like this is going to be a power start. Looks like Black Rose has lost Beans to the penalty box as a jammer. So Pittsburgh picking up lead off that whistle now. Bigfoot's in control. Very quick 4 points by Bigfoot in that scoring pass. Still a power jam in the hands of Pittsburgh. Beans coming back onto the track after that earlier penalty, so Black Rose regaining their jammer just as Bigfoot completes a second scoring pass. Beans having some trouble getting past Strawberry Jam now. Looks like Pippa Raygun working the front of the pack too, working some defense against Beans. So Pittsburgh reforms their wall against Beans. Beans being sent down, coming around the 8, coming around that straightaway. Diallo being called off on a track cut here. Bigfoot coming in for another round of points. Black Rose stretching out a 3-wall across the front of the pack. It's effective. Jack Skatington sends Bigfoot out of bounds. Now Bigfoot gets past that 3-wall back of Black Rose blockers there. Scar going in for a hit, but Bigfoot is past Scar. Completes 4 points, calls it off. So another 12-point jam. No, I'm sorry, another 20-point jam. And Pittsburgh going for a team timeout. As now we are down to under 2 minutes to our game. Looks like Beans is going to start in the box for her second jammer penalty in a row. So another power start going to the hands of Pittsburgh. They got number 713 Thunderbash out there. Okay, that timeout now coming to an end, called by the Pittsburgh bench. So power start in the hands of Pittsburgh with number 713 Thunderbash on the track. And Bionic B calling the 5-second call. Moving into a timeout now by our officials. Very quick timeout by our officials. So our next jam is on. Thunderbash on the post right now on the track on a power start. Thunderbash and out of bounds. Looks like Blueberry might have made that hit against Thunder. Blueberry called off on a high block penalty. Thunderbash breaking out of the pack. Jammer referee Mofo Shizzle blows those 2 whistles. Thunderbash is our lead jammer. Icebox being called off on a track cut. Thunderbash getting past Bloody Mary with a 4-point pass. Beans coming back in from that earlier jammer penalty start. Thunderbash making way through the pack, but it's called off. Looks like Thunderbash was called off on a track cut. So that is going to take lead jammer away from Thunder and the ability to call off the jam. So we're probably going to be moving into the end of the game on this jam. Okay, Beans breaking out of the pack now on this initial pass. There is no lead jammer, so it cannot be called off. Beans coming in now on a scoring pass. Thunderbash finishing time in the penalty box. So both jammers back on the track. Thunderbash colliding with Icebox. Thunderbash is out with 4 points for Pittsburgh. So our official period clock has expired. This will be the final jam of the game. Just about 10 seconds to go. Thunderbash is out with another 4 points for the Brats. Beans coming in. Looks like Lake and they are closing down Beans' offense there. And we time out at 2 minutes. Beans, looks like Beans does have 3 points despite all that fighting to come out of the pack. So that's going to bring us to an unofficial score of Black Rose 124 and Pittsburgh 352. Our Gemma referees will meet with the scorekeepers and make sure all the points and the math looks good. And as long as they give the thumbs up, we're going to call an official score. Now, we're also going to be doing the MVP blockers and MVP gemmers for both of these teams, so give us a few more minutes. I have one more shout out. I don't know who's responsible for this one, but I'm going to give you a thank you with a side eye. This goes out to Carnage. That is your announcer for being the best announcer, all around guy. Love you so much. Thanks for being you. I will find out who did that. Totally uncalled for. Okay, our officials have spoken. It's a final score, Black Rose 124. Pittsburgh taking the win, though, at 352 points. Okay, our team's gathering at their benches here to go ahead and take care of some last-minute details. Pittsburgh gathering up here to celebrate their victory. Now they're coming around the track, taking their victory lap. This is the Pittsburgh Derby Brats. Very hard-fought game by both these two teams there. Probably a 4-hour drive to Hanover from Pittsburgh. Give both these teams a round of applause. They've done a fantastic job. Now coming around the track, now our home team, the Black Rose Rebellion, level 3 skaters. The front of the pack here, we've got Swiss Rolls. Coming around now, Mathora. Farrah Forsyth, there's too fast to be to name. Beans is in there. Diablo, Scar, Drax Aington, Starstruck. My brain doesn't work that quickly. It's still early. Twig coming there at the back of the line. I see Crow in there. So we're going to go ahead and do our MVPs as voted upon by the opposite teams here in just a moment.